Hey y'all, welcome back to the Free Black Women's Library YouTube channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Thank you for liking this video and thank you for subscribing to my channel. What's up, y'all? My name is Ola. I am an artist, library worker, and the creator and director of a social art project called the Free Black Women's Library. And on this channel, I talk about books, movies, and TV shows that I'm really excited about, really interested in, and just feel like sharing. And in this video today, I'm talking about a TV show that I just recently binged that I wanted to put on some of y'all's radar because I think you would really enjoy it. Okay. So the TV show is called Mr. Loverman. And Mr. Loverman is currently streaming on BritBox, which you can get through Amazon. And it's also available on the Roku channel. Now, Mr. Loverman is a series that is based on a book written by an author whose work we have here at the Free Black Women's Library. Her name is Bernadine Evaristo. Another of her books that's really popular is called Girl, Woman, Other. We have copies of that here, and it's a book that often comes up in conversation. It's pretty thick, and it's a really good book. But Mr. Loverman, in addition to Girl, Woman, Other, also won the Booker Prize. So Mr. Loverman was turned into an episodic series for BritBox, and it first aired in 2025 because we're in 2026 now. It's 8 episodes total, and it is, whew, it really touched me, y'all. It really touched me, and I'm curious to know if anyone out there has read the book or seen this series. I am interested in reading the book now just to see how faithful the adaptation is, but I'm going to share a little bit about the story. So, spoiler warning, this video will contain spoilers, but I will also recommend it anyway, even though I might be spoiling it for you. How about that? Anywho, so Mr. Loverman, I'm going to read the description. A woman is shocked to discover that her husband of 50 years has been cheating on her for decades with his male best friend. Now, that's the description that is on the internet when you search for it. But I really don't feel like this description does it. I feel like this description does it a disservice because that's not really what this story is about. Like, it's about that, but not really, right? So, Mr. Loverman is about this love affair between these two black men, Caribbean black men from the island of Antigua. Their names are Barrington and Morris. Barry is the one that is referred to as Mr. Loverman by Morris. Barry and Morris have been best friends and lovers for 5 decades. Okay. So when we first meet them in this series, they're in their 70s and they've had this intense, secret love affair for this entire time. It started out back in Antigua when they were young boys, and now they're in London and it's still taking place. They're still sneaking around, hiding, and just being together. Morris is a single man. He has his wife divorced him, his family. He has nobody because he was caught out there a while ago. So yeah, this is a spoiler review. This is a spoiler Rambly reaction, but I'm not giving away the whole story. I'm just telling little bitty bits. So Morris is single. Okay. Barrington, aka Barry, is married. Barry is married to Carmel. Barry and Carmel have two daughters, Donna and Maxine. Donna has one son. Are you following me? Are you with me? So we have these two men, Morris and Barry. Morris is a single man out here on his own, living in London. He's been ostracized from his family. He's been excommunicated because they know that he is a homosexual. Barrington, on the other hand, is married to Carmel. He's got 2 daughters and 1 grandson. They have no idea that Barry is a gay man. They have no idea that Barry and Morris are in a relationship. Carmel, who is Barry's wife, she whew, she is very tragic. She's a very tragic character. She's very sad. She's very bitter. She's very angry. She's very mean. She's very churchy. She has a horrible attitude. She's been sad and depressed for her entire life. And she has married this man who was the catch back in Antigua. So she thought she was doing something when she married Barry and they moved to London. But unfortunately, Barry does not give her the attention, the affection, the desire, the support, the anything that she needs. So as a result of being trapped in this marriage for 50 years, Carmel has become just what Barry refers to as an ice queen, as a monster, but it's not her fault, right? It's not her fault. She doesn't know that she's married to a gay man. She knows that something is wrong. She thinks that the reason why Barry does not show her love and affection and care is because there's something wrong with her. Okay. Mind you, she already has some trauma from her father and how he treated her. Now she's stuck in a marriage with this man who treats her like she's nothing. So she becomes bitter and nasty. So their marriage is a mess. Their marriage is toxic. It's not like like a lavender marriage where she knows her husband is gay and they've worked it out to be that, right? Like Audre Lorde and the man she was married to. No. So Barry and Carmel, they raise these 2 beautiful daughters. And Barry, despite the fact that he is violently closeted, and living in fear, he's done pretty well for himself financially. He's been a good businessman, so much so that he's able to support both of his children and even his grandson. He can pay for his grandson to go to this elite private school. He owns the house that they live in. So, Barry feels like, oh, I've provided for my family. I've done all the things that a man can do. I've lived for them. I've taken care of them. I'm a good man. I'm a good person. And I'm here to tell you, Barry, you're not a good person. You're not. You're not. I appreciate how flawed all of these characters are. Like every character in this story is a bit of a mess. Um, and I found it so impactful. And part of the reason I want to talk about it is because I want to encourage more folks to check it out. I think it's worth watching. I don't want it to get lost in the radar just because it's British television. I know that the lead actor who plays Barrington, his name is Lenny James. I know that he has won Best Leading Actor award for this. I know that it's gotten 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's doing very well. Critically, it's a critical success, but I don't know if it's a commercial success because I haven't seen anyone talking about it, right? So some of the themes, I wrote down some of the themes in my phone while I was watching it, and I want to get into it with y'all. And one of the things I like about Bernadine Evaristo's work, like I said earlier, is that her characters are real. Her characters are not good or evil, villains, heroes. They're real people. They're flawed, they're messy, they make mistakes, they are vengeful, they project, and they feel like human beings, right? Who've gone through some things. And while I was watching it, I said, this is a cautionary tale. This is a cautionary tale around what happens when you decide to live in fear and live half a life and how it affects the people around you. Because Barry has been living in fear his entire life about what would happen to him if he is seen as gay, if he comes out of the closet, right? And he's a bit of a dandy. He's very well dressed. He's very fancy. He's very slick. He wears his hair slicked back. His outfits are top tier. Um, and it's obvious that he loves Morris very, very much. And it's obvious that Morris loves him because, come on, this is 5 decades. Of course, they love each other, right? But still, there's this fear that Barry is plagued with. And they go through this back and forth where Morris is like, I want us to be together. This is the last quarter of our lives. We've been hiding for so long. First, it was, oh, I don't want to leave Carmel. And then it was, I don't want to leave my kids. I need to be there for my kids. And it was like, oh, I need to be there for my grandson. But you know what? Your two daughters are fully grown. Your grandson is about to go off to college. It's come on now. It's now or never. So Barry keeps promising Morris, oh, I'm gonna tell Carmel today. Oh, I'm gonna tell Carmel tomorrow. Oh, I'm gonna tell Carmel, blah, blah, blah. And he never tells Carmel. And Morris gets frustrated. He's like, I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of this. I'm over this. And I think part of what inspires Morris to leave Barry at one point is because he has a friend who is a young black gay man and he sees him with an engagement ring on. And he's like, wow, like there's men out here getting married. Why am I sneaking around hiding my love when there's men out here getting married? So I thought that was really beautiful and really touching because being the type of person I am and the age that I'm in right now as a midlife woman, I know that I also get inspired and invigorated when I see the young people around me living freely, living boldly, expressing their queerness, expressing their sexuality with no fear of retribution, with no fear of judgment. Like I love to see that. I love to see that. I love to know that the world is becoming more progressive, hopefully, in that way. Or maybe we're just becoming more fearless as a people. Maybe the world is not becoming more progressive. Maybe we're becoming more fearless, and that's forcing the world to become more progressive. Y'all tell me what you think. So, a little bit more about the story. So, Carmel is going back home to Antigua because it turns out that her father is dying and she wants Barry to come back with her. Barry says no, he's not going to come back with her. Apparently, Barry has made this excuse of how he doesn't like to fly, he doesn't like being on planes. And the word coward is thrown at Barry a lot. And in a way, it fits because he is a bit of a coward. Ooh, I might have to sneeze, y'all. Excuse me. I have a little bit of a cold. I don't know if y'all can hear it. But in he's the word coward is thrown at Barry a lot. And in a way it fits because he is a coward. But it's thrown as a slur and it's thrown as an insult. And I will admit, at first I was like, yeah, Barry, you are a coward. But then I had to think about it a little bit more. And also as the show went on, ooh, excuse me. Oh my God. I'm so sorry, y'all. Oh, I have a cold. Wow. Please excuse me. I'm pushing through this. Okay. It's 8 episodes, and each episode is 30 minutes. And I did watch all of them in a row. So it moves quick. But we get to this one episode where Carmel has to go back to Antigua because her father's dying. He's 90. Did I mention that Barry is 75? Yeah. So Carmel's going back to Antigua because her father's dying. She's going to go back and she's going to say bye to him. So when Carmel goes back to Antigua, Barry's left at home alone to his own devices. And he's very excited about that because he hates being around Carmel. He hates being around her. And she senses that. She knows that. And imagine being a wife trapped in a marriage with a man, and you know that this man does not like you, but you cannot figure out why. You know that this man does not like you, right? And she's a church going woman. She's a Bible thumper. She's a Jesus loving woman, right? But she also has an affair. And I was happy to see that. I was happy to see that she did have some moments of pleasure. So, anywho, there's a couple of different time jumps where they go back and forth in time. And I do appreciate a good time jump, although sometimes it makes me a little dizzy and sometimes it makes the story feel a little hard to follow. But Carmel, it turns out that Carmel did have an affair, and the person she had an affair with tried to get her to leave Barry, but she wouldn't leave him because she really felt like she had to make it work with him. So, religion. Not only is this a cautionary tale for me and others, but I also feel like it's giving us an example of how religion can oppress you, right? Religion can be oppressive. The laws and the rules around religion can be oppressive because the only reason she stays in this marriage is because she feels like she made a commitment to God, under God. It's, it's a sacrilegious divorce. It's like, no. So Carmel's in Antigua, Barry's in London. Barry's thinking, oh, him and Morris are gonna have a funky good time. While the cat's away, the mice will play. But Morris is like, nah, I'm not messing with you until you tell Carmel that it's over with her. These are the last years of our lives, and I want to live them out and free. I want to be free. So he leaves Barry. And I happen to mention that Barry is a little bit of a drunk. He drinks. He drinks a lot. He drinks a lot. He crashes out. He's a mess. Okay. So there's this secret and this pain and this longing inside him, and he tries to drown it with alcohol. Donna, his daughter, has a son. Donna is going to go to Antigua to be with mom because it turns out that Carmel's daddy died. So Carmel's going through it, and I felt a lot of sympathy for her character, but I also felt frustrated with her character, right? Because I'm the type of person, it's like, leave that man, honey. Leave that man. Please leave that man. Either way, so Donna goes away to be with mom in Antigua. The grandson comes to stay with Barry. Turns out the grandson is not just aspiring to go to Harvard and Oxford and so on, but he also loves drill hip hop music, the type of drill hip hop music that talks about, it's very homophobic, uses gay slurs back to back. It's very like violent, raw, disgusting type of hip hop that's like very like hateful towards gay people. So Barry catches the grandson and his privileged, annoying, rude ass white friends from school in the parlor listening to this music. And he comes down and he's drunk off his ass and he curses them all out and tells them to get out of his house. And he lets them know that he's a sucker, that he is gay. He comes out in that moment to his grandson and his grandson's friends. Yeah. The grandson is like, whoa, okay, this is different. He kicks them all out. They all leave, including the grandson. And then his two daughters come by because mom is coming home soon. They want to get the place together for mom. And he comes out to his younger daughter. His younger daughter, Maxine, is played by one of my favorite actresses, Tamara Lawrence. And he says to her that he's gay. And this is one of the most beautiful scenes that I've watched on cinema, on in TV in a long time, because he comes out to his daughter, right? And you can see in her eyes, oh, this is all making sense now, because the whole family kind of felt like something is up with dad. Like something is up with him. It's not just that he's an alcoholic, but he's just absent. Like he's not present for us. Like what's. So you can see the realization center in her eyes and in her body. So that's his first time coming out the closet, coming out to his daughter. His grandson now knows, and now his daughter knows. And that's it. And Carmel is Antigua. In Antigua, we see Carmel in Antigua. Whew, her spirit is so heavy. She's so downtrodden. She's so sad. She's just a mess. Like, oh, Carmel is just. It's a shame. It's a shame. Probably one of the saddest characters I've ever seen in a TV series is Carmel. Mm-hmm. Yes, Carmel, the wife, who's played by Sharon Clark. Um, her makeup and her hair situation kind of bothered me, but that's an aesthetics choice. I don't know if they did that on purpose or they just didn't know what they were working with. That kind of took me out of it every once in a while. Like there's this one scene where she looks gray, like the foundation they use on her is. Anyway, back to the main story. So Carmel's in Antigua, and there's this man who's like kind of looking at her like, "Hey, girl, you looking good? What's going on?" And she also sees some old friends, and they're like, "Oh." So she starts to reconnect with her younger self. There's the self that she was. And one of the things they did in this series, which I really enjoyed, is when they would go back in time, they would have these actors and actresses play the young version of the main characters, and then there were a few scenes where you would have the adult or older elder version of the person and the younger person in the same frame, sitting next to each other and just thinking deeply. And I really like that effect. This idea of meeting yourself, the young you meeting the you that you are now, and what type of conversations would you have? Would you be surprised at who you've become? And the fact that the young version of each character and the old version of each character are still dealing with the same issues, the same trauma, the same abuse, just kind of recycling the same narrative within themselves that's holding them back. Something about that really hit me. And just from a subjective standpoint, I know that it's because of the phase of life where I am right now, being a middle-aged woman and being somewhat dissatisfied with the state of my life and thinking about the choices I've made and thinking about possible regrets, thinking about where I've held myself back and asking myself, am I living half a life? Am I living fully? Am I living freely? These are the kind of questions that came up for me watching this series. Now, I'm going to share with you a few more of the themes that I feel are being explored. So I already said it's a cautionary tale, and it's a tale of regret. That's one of the major themes is regret. Another major theme is obligation, and how obligation corners you, oppresses you, confines you, holds you back. Doing things out of guilt. Never do anything out of guilt. Never do anything out of guilt, y'all. Never let guilt be the motivation for the actions that you do for yourself or other people. It will leave you at a deficit, at a spiritual and a psychic deficit for sure. I wrote Barry's wife is a depressing, sad woman who has wasted her life living to please other people. Yes, that's Carmel. And Barry's life is ruled by fear and this secret of him being gay. So those are the themes I have. And I'll tell you a little bit more about what happened. So, like I said, Carmel's father dies, but she ends up staying in Antigua a little bit longer, reconnecting with old friends. And one of her friends tells her, because she's talking about Barry, right? There's this beautiful man who is finding her very attractive, and she doesn't want to step out on her marriage. She's made a commitment. She doesn't want to make that mistake again, right? And so her friend is like, girl, listen, your man is gay. We don't see the scene, but we know that's what happened. She tells him, she tells her. And we don't see the scene. We don't see how Carmel reacts to finding out this information. All we see is that moment of Carmel, I have to tell you something. Wipe my nose. Excuse me, y'all. Hope that's not too gross of a thing to do on camera. If it is, I apologize. Um, and we see Barry, he's back in London, and he has made the decision to tell Carmel. Now, he's made this decision multiple times over the past 50 years, but this time he's determined to do it. He's come out twice, one time during an alcoholic crash out, and another time with his daughter in a very somber, serene, tear-filled moment. So he's gotten practice. And I think coming out to people, if you're afraid, is one of those things that it probably gets easier the more you do it. So Carmel comes back home. She already knows he's gay now. She's got an attitude. She walks in and she's like, I have to talk to you. Barry, come in here. I have to talk to you. Barry goes in the room. He sits down and he says, I have to tell you something. And she's like, no, I have to tell you something. And he says, listen, I have to tell you something. Not knowing she already knows. And he says, I'm gay. I'm gay. And she's like, I know. And we're getting a divorce. And I hate you. And I never want to see you again. These are the last words you'll ever hear me say. And I was not mad at her. And he has the nerve to be like, I'm sorry. Child, there's certain things that an I'm sorry will not fix. There's no, like, I believe in apologies. I believe in restorative justice. But there's certain things that an apology will not fix. And one of them is staying married to me for 5 decades when you didn't want me the whole time. You had me thinking something was wrong with me. You had me thinking I was ugly, I was fat, I was unattractive, I was not a good person because you never tried to do nothing with me. When all the while it turned out that you were just not into women. And not only that, but your best friend, Morris, Uncle Morris, who we all know as Uncle Morris, who's been around since the beginning of time, is the one that you're in love with, right? There's this ongoing kind of running joke amongst the family throughout the series about Uncle Morris. Oh, your best friend, Uncle Morris. Where's Uncle Morris? Et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, what can you do? You know, we we only know as much as you tell us. And the thing is, we're not going to assume daddy's gay because that would just be weird, right? So, anywho, so that's the whole story of Mr. Loverman. The final episode is really beautiful because we finally get to see Barry and Morris out in the street, holding hands, walking together, arm in arm, ready to just like live their lives as a couple. And I really like that. You know, Morris is much more freer than Barry. And I find it interesting that part of the reason why he's much more freer is because he was put out. His wife caught him. So he never came out the closet. He was forced out. Um, yeah. Anywho, That's it, y'all. Mr. Loverman, currently streaming on BritBox. You can do a free trial of BritBox for a week, and you could probably watch the entire series within that week. I don't think there'll be a season two because the story feels pretty complete unless we go into a season two and we get to experience Barry and Morris living together as a couple. I will say that one of the things that attracted me to watching this series is we rarely get to see people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s falling in love, being in love, dating, having these romantic type of moments. I was also going to talk about the movie Relationship Goals, which is another film. It's a romantic comedy with Method Man and Kelly Rowland, who are in their 40s and 50s. And part of me really appreciates having media that does not center youth. I'll watch anything, but it's just nice to know that there are creators out there, film producers, film directors, who write stories with characters that are fully realized adults, who are still learning things to them about themselves, who are still navigating complicated things. Like, it's not like you reach 40 and all of a sudden you know everything and like your life is over, right? So I really appreciate that, because it's nice to see that on camera. There's a lot of ageism that happens within the industry. So a broad story, someone who takes that approach to storytelling, I feel like they're being very bold, and very brave. And so I'm going to promote their work, and I'm going to shout out to all the actors in this. Um, Ariane Bakari, Lenny James, Sharon Clark, Shirlene White, Tamara Lawrence. Great job, y'all. Ooh, excuse me. Watch the nose. Okay, y'all. I'm so sorry about my nose running. Oh, that's horrible. But I'm going to post this video anyway because I want to. All right. Bye, y'all. Have a good day.